The monitor flatlined as Dr. Amara Singh's hands trembled over her patient's chest. "No, no, no," she whispered, the irony crushing her, a heart surgeon who couldn't save the one heart that mattered most. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, an unknown number with a familiar area code. She never imagined that within hours, she'd be the one on the operating table, with only one surgeon skilled enough to save her, the man whose wedding ring she'd returned 5 years ago. If you're feeling that knot in your throat already, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow this journey of love, forgiveness, and second chances that might just change how you see the people you've left behind. The emergency room doors slid open as Dr. Chen rushed through, still wearing the rumpled suit from the medical conference he'd left mid-presentation. The nurse at the station recognized him immediately. "Dr. Chen, we didn't expect you so quickly from Boston." "I was on the first flight out," he said, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. "Where is she?" The nurse's expression softened. "Cardiac ICU, room 718. Dr. Patel is waiting for you." Michael's footsteps echoed down the hallway as memories flooded back, the last time he'd seen Amara, standing in their apartment, tears streaming down her face as she told him she couldn't do it anymore. The distance, the competing careers, the miscarriage that had broken them both. "I need to find myself without you," she'd said. He'd respected her wishes, even when it felt like carving out his own heart. Now, 5 years later, that same heart pounded against his ribs as he approached her room. Dr. Patel met him at the door, expression grave. "Spontaneous coronary artery dissection. Rare in someone her age, but the stress levels she's been under." He shook his head. "We need to operate immediately, but given the complexity." "I'll do it," Michael said, already reaching for the chart. "She doesn't know you're here," Dr. Patel warned. "When we told her we were calling you, she was barely conscious, but she tried to refuse." Michael's jaw tightened. "She doesn't have to like me to let me save her life." Inside the room, Amara lay pale against the white sheets, monitors beeping steadily. Her black hair, once flowing past her shoulders, was now cut in a short bob that framed her face. Even in crisis, she was beautiful to him. Her eyes fluttered open, focusing slowly. When she recognized him, something flashed across her face, panic, anger, and beneath it all, a flicker of something else. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered, her voice weak. "You have a tear in your left anterior descending artery," he said, professional mask firmly in place. "The procedure is complex, and time is critical. There are other surgeons. None who've published 3 papers on this exact condition." He moved closer. "None who know your heart like I do." Her eyes welled with tears. "That's not fair. Neither is dying at 36 because you're too stubborn to let me help you." He softened his tone. "Amara, please. Let me do this." The silence stretched between them, 5 years of unspoken words hanging in the balance. "Okay," she finally whispered. "But this doesn't change anything." As they prepared for surgery, Michael learned pieces of Amara's life since they'd parted. She'd become chief of cardiothoracic surgery at this hospital 2 years ago. She lived alone, married to her work. The patient she'd lost that morning, the one that had triggered her own cardiac event, was a 12-year-old girl with a congenital heart defect. In the operating room, Michael worked with the precision that had made him famous in their field. His hands, steady where hers had trembled hours before, carefully repaired the tear in her artery. The team around him moved in perfect synchrony, aware they were watching a master at work. "BP dropping," the anesthesiologist called out. Michael didn't look up. "Push 1 of AP. Still dropping." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. "Come on, Amara," he whispered. "You don't get to leave twice." As if she'd heard him, her vitals stabilized. The procedure continued without further complications, and 3 hours later, Michael stepped back from the table, exhausted but successful. "She'll recover," he told Dr. Patel. Keep her sedated overnight. I'll check on her in the morning. In his hotel room, Michael couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, remembering the night Amara had first told him she loved him, during their second year of residency, both of them delirious from a 36-hour shift. They'd built dreams together, planned a future. Then life had happened, pulling them in different directions until the distance became too great to bridge. Morning found him back at her bedside, reviewing her charts when she opened her eyes. "You're still here," she murmured, voice rough from intubation. "I told you I'd check on you." He poured her a cup of water. "How's the pain?" "Manageable." She took a sip. "Thank you. For coming." "For." She gestured vaguely at her chest. "You would have done the same." Her laugh was bitter. "Would I? I'm not so sure." The honesty surprised him. "Amara." "I saw her," she interrupted. "The girl I lost yesterday. In my... I don't know if it was a dream or something else. She told me it wasn't my time." Her eyes met his. "Was that just my brain on drugs, or do you think there's something more?" It was such an Amara question, always seeking the line between science and faith. "I think," he said carefully, "that sometimes we get second chances we don't deserve. And it's up to us what we do with them." Over the next week, as Amara recovered, the walls between them slowly lowered. She told him about her parents' deaths 2 years ago, just months apart. He shared stories of his research, the breakthrough that had come from their joint work years before. Neither mentioned the real reason they'd broken apart, the nursery they'd painted yellow, the tiny clothes they'd never used. On the day before her discharge, Michael brought her favorite tea from the cafe they used to frequent. "It's still there," he said, handing her the cup. "The owner asked about you." Amara's fingers brushed his as she took the tea. "Michael, what happens after tomorrow?" "You go back to Boston, I stay here, and we pretend this never happened?" He sat on the edge of her bed. "Is that what you want?" "I don't know what I want." She looked down. "That's not true." "I know exactly what I want, but I'm terrified." "Of what?" "Of losing again." Her voice broke. "I lost our baby. I lost you. I lost my parents. Yesterday, I lost a patient. I can't." "You didn't lose me," he said quietly. "You left me." The truth hung between them, sharp and necessary. "Yes," she admitted. "I did. Because I couldn't bear to see the disappointment in your eyes every time you looked at me." "Disappointment?" He looked stunned. "Amara, I never. Not consciously. But I was the one who wanted to wait to have children. I was the one who pushed for one more year of focusing on our careers. If I had just... Stop." His voice was firm. "The miscarriage wasn't your fault. It wasn't anyone's fault." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "In my head, I know that. But my heart..." Michael took her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. "I have a confession. I requested the transfer to Boston after you left. I couldn't stay here, surrounded by our memories." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm not." He met her gaze. "Because if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have developed the technique that saved your life yesterday." She stared at him, realization dawning. "The papers you published, they were because of me? Everything I've done has been because of you, Amara. Even when you weren't there." The next morning, as Michael helped her pack her things, Amara made a decision. "I have 6 weeks of mandatory recovery before I can return to work," she said casually. "I was thinking of taking a trip." "Oh?" He folded a sweater, not meeting her eyes. "Boston is supposed to be beautiful this time of year." His hands stilled. "It is. Would you?" She took a deep breath. "Would you have space for a visitor? Just for a little while?" Michael finally looked up, hope written across his face. I think I could arrange something. As they left the hospital together, neither knew what the future held. There were still conversations to have, pain to process, trust to rebuild. But for the first time in 5 years, they were walking in the same direction. Sometimes the heart needs breaking before it can truly heal. And sometimes, the person you swore to forget becomes the only one who can help you remember who you are. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us second chances aren't just plot devices, they're the moments that define our lives.